Right, so everyone, this is Jonas. He is the owner of Hungry Bear Farm in Mason. So him and his wife, Marilyn, started the farm, started farming, I think back in 2008, correct, based on what their website is. Prior to doing the farming, Gene was a software engineer and decided to do something completely different. My wife and I joined his CSA a couple of years ago. We had been a member of CSA in Wilton. That the person running that wasn't going to do it anymore. They let us know about Gene's farm. So again, we joined that and we got our vegetables all summer long from him. He's got a great place in Mason. I think it's just 4 acres. It's not a huge farm, but there's several families that benefit from what he offers and the planting each year. I think he has over 40 varieties of different plants that he grows. And then the off season during the winter, he's still planting in the greenhouse, as well as doing a bunch of research for the upcoming year and to see what makes the most sense. The reason I decided to ask Gene to join us today is every once in a while I'll go pick up the vegetables when Christine can't get there, and we've kind of discussed some things and just talking about farming in the area and some of the challenges that it takes, and also the personality to be a farmer. It's not a big money maker, as I'm sure a lot of you know. It's a lot of hard work. You're doing every single day. You're fighting the weather. It's too much rain one year, not enough rain, too much heat, whatever it may be. So again, there's a lot of challenges that are faced. The other thing too with the vegetables, I'm not sure if anybody here is part of a CSA. If you are, just kind of raise your hand. Okay, a couple of people have been or are. The one thing we see is definitely the quality is so much different than what you get in the store. The taste of the vegetables is much greater and much more pronounced. And the other thing too, even the same thing with the organic vegetables that you get, there's just a huge difference. The other nice thing is a couple of weeks ago, I went and he had fresh ginger, and I looked at it, I'm like, what the heck is that stuff? And it just looks so weird because I've never seen ginger just directly out of the ground versus what you get in the store where it's all dried up and weird looking. And Gene said it's ginger, and it's amazing to have that freshly picked and be able to go home and use it right then. So again, it's been a huge benefit, and totally appreciate all the effort that Gene puts into farming. So with that, I want to turn things over to Gene and just have him talk about farming in the area and kind of why he decided to get into it, what the challenges are, kind of what the future is, and then also how we as a local community can support local farming, and hopefully more farming can come back to the local area instead of getting all this stuff shipped from California or other countries, and really take advantage of good produce. So Gene, you can take it away.
Well, thank you, Greg, and thanks for having me, everyone. You took half my speech away from me, so you're making it easy on me today. Yeah, well, a little intro. After I got out of the Air Force in the 80s, I basically became a quality control engineer, and then I started teaching myself software. And all through the 90s, I worked as a software engineer in and around the Boston area. But in December of 2008, the company I was working for laid me off, and that was the 3rd time I got laid off by corporate America since coming out of the service. And I vowed never to go back again, and I haven't. And so I started farming, and luckily my wife was making all the money, pretty much. The kids were out of the house, so we sold our house in Westford, Mass, in one day, and then we had to look for a place up here. And we wanted to move to New Hampshire, and we were kind of in a hurry, and we settled in a place in Wilton. It wasn't totally what I wanted for farming, but nevertheless, we settled in here, and lo and behold, that it was 2010, that winter, I found some property in Milford. This guy was willing to let a farmer come onto his land and farm it for free. So I was there for a couple of years, and that worked out okay, but I always wanted to have some land of my own. So we found a place in Mason. Originally it's 4 acres, and eventually, a few years later, we were able to purchase an additional 8 acres. So if you saw our field, I could explain it better, but we own the whole field now and the water source. So that's really good. We have 3 high tunnels out there, which are, one was funded by the NRCS. The other 2 we had to save up and buy along the way. And also a cool storage unit in the field, which allows us to have a CSA where people come out each week, 30 weeks of the year, and pick up whatever's fresh for that week. So I was told to talk about the importance of local farms. Well, I just have a little story about around the pandemic. In 2019, we had a 50-member CSA main season, which is not terribly huge for a farm around here. I know some that have, you know, over 100, 200, but it's modest, you know, and we work hard at it. Once the pandemic hit, every farm around here that I know of that sold direct to the public saw a big uptick in business. And I think that was due to people going to the supermarket and perhaps for the first time in their lives, seeing empty shelves. And a lot of them sought out local food, and we were here for people. So that speaks to the resilience that community-based farms can bring to the local folk who are willing to support them. And it's also important to know how your food was grown. We grow to organic standards. We grow a wide variety of vegetables, some small fruits and berries, herbs. And we grow, like I said, we grow to organic standards. I wouldn't do it any other way. So organic farms offer a huge difference in biodiversity generally in and around their farms. We have a woman who keeps bees out there, and we, you know, they're all over the flowers, and, you know, I don't spray anything. So, you know, they're not getting polluted with neonicotinoids and things like that. So, yeah, you know, it's basically a labor of love and a love of labor, if I could put it that way. It's a ton of work. I've been at it for 12 years now. I didn't have any field help up until maybe 5 years ago, and I still only have like part-time field help. As soon as I'm done off of this Zoom, I'm hitting my field, even here in November. I'm out there till the ground freezes. That's just me. I mean, I know other farmers work just as hard, but not all. So there's differences between the farms, believe me. So yeah, it's a very meaningful job to me. Doesn't pay a lot, but it was a conscientious decision I made long ago to get into farming and not keep working for the man, you know what I'm saying? So challenges, money's always an issue. It's not like you're rolling in the dough here. We make enough to get by, and the bills are always paid by what we sold, and we were able to expand over the years. Like I said, we bought our second, third high tunnels, and we were able to save up enough to put a down payment on the second parcel of land, 8 acres. So now we have 12 out there. So any money I make, I just throw into an account and pay the bills out of. And if we save up a little bit in a couple of years, we put it back into the farm. Weather has been a huge issue. As you know, we had drought years in 2016 and 2020. This year was a deluge. I think July saw a record rainfall. Economic conditions are beyond my control. So, you know, that's another thing we kind of have to deal with. The nature of the work, I'm out there every single day during the growing season. Like I said, I'm out there just about every day still now at some point doing something. It's not as crazy as it gets in July, but there's still work to do. And I'm the only one working out there right now. And finding good help. I mean, everyone should probably have some experience with that. That's hard to do. You know, we get seasonal help, they come and go. I don't have a steady crew. So, you know, hopefully that can change in the future. But I'm going to speak a little bit about the true cost of food. People often say, well, why is your stuff so expensive? It's cheaper at Market Basket. Well, is it? There's hidden costs in the industrial food system. They're known as externalities. I have something here I want to read to you. I'm studying true cost accounting right now in hopes to inform the public at some point of the hidden costs in certain foods. I'm talking about, you know, the industrial agricultural food system that predominates this country and many others. But there's hidden costs, and let me read this to you. All right, it's just because this comes from a study out of Johns Hopkins University. As a country, we spend a total of 1.1 trillion a year on food. But when the impacts of the food system on different parts of our society, including rising healthcare costs, climate change, and biodiversity loss, are factored in, the bill grows. Accounting for these costs, the true cost of food is at least 3.2 trillion a year, more than 3 times the current expenditure on food. Now I could read more, but I won't. I just want to give you that high level view that there are hidden costs to people's health in the forms of pollution. There's biodiversity loss with the monocultured way that industrial ag operates. There's animal and human welfare costs. There's costs to the environment in the form of greenhouse gases. It comes at a price. So when you go to the store and you see the lower cost items compared to, say, buying from a local farm, we're not subsidized by the government, the small guys. And we don't have as many negative externalities as they do. So just keep that in mind. It's not just the price you pay at the supermarket that is the real cost of the food that you consume. I guess I'll just leave it at that. And if anybody has any questions, they can ask them.
Laura?
I'll get so Gene can see me. I'm over here. Hi, Gene.
Hi.
What's your favorite part of farming?
Well,
what's you really look forward to doing?
What gives me the most pleasure, or one of the things that gives me the most pleasure, is when I see the families come out on CSA pickup day and really appreciate what I do. You can tell, and if they have children, if the children just start taking a carrot or pepper and start biting into it and enjoying it, that says it all. I mean, and they tell you, you know, oh, your carrots taste so much better than the stores, or oh, I love this last week or that. Those things, that's what keeps me going a lot of times. It's not easy work. You know, I'm not getting any younger either. So, that's one of the biggest joys, I think.
And actually, I just have something to add to that, the whole carrot thing. So we had a garden at our house here in Temple, and my niece was visiting us from Waterbury, Connecticut, which is a city, and they live, you know, right across the street from a fire station and restaurants down the street. And they were picking carrots out of the garden, and my niece was probably, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and it was like she had no idea that carrots came out of the ground, and she wouldn't eat it because it came out as all dirty. It's just interesting that, how far removed we are from, what food is, what it looks like when it comes out of the ground. And even my story about the ginger, just not knowing what it was because it looked different than what I was used to seeing. Bob?
Just how much control do you feel you have over your daily schedule? What do you think you'll be doing next Thursday afternoon? And is there a real plan that you're falling behind while you take care of something else that came up? Or how much is it really down to a bit of a science and you really know what needs to be done on what time schedule? Is there a schedule board up for you each morning or each week or each month? Or is it just reacting to what, oh no, that broke, or when you did this or that?
I try to be as organized as possible. I use the old-fashioned pen and pencil on a notebook, and I constantly write what I have to do each day, and I have an overall schedule of what needs to be done, depending on what time of year it is. I have a journal, call it a diary, that goes back to 2009, and I type in it every night. It's just a big giant text file now. So I can refer back to things I did last year at what time. When you're dealing with, say, planting season, it's just, you're just trying to prepare all the plots, all the beds ahead of time. And either certain crops get direct seeded, some get transplanted. So I have a giant schedule based upon history that I have kept. So I know what needs to be done when. That being said, you have to be flexible too. Like, you could get to the field and all of a sudden voles have invaded your cucumbers and you have to deal with that. So there's always things that you have to make adjustments for, depending on what the conditions are and what happens. But yeah, I try to be as organized as possible. And like, I have a list of things to do today, and even though it's like almost mid-November, yeah, you just try to stay focused, organized, and do what you can each day, but know that, you might have to make quick adjustments. I hope that answers your question.
It's a good approach.
All right, Dale?
Yeah, how do you take care of the voles that are going after your?
Oh, I tell you, those little. The last couple of years, they've been a real issue, and other farms have experienced it too. Sometimes it's like serendipitous things happen. For instance, last year, this person came out with I think it was his grandson, and just started talking to me. And sometimes people just come out and ask me questions while I'm in the field. Well, we started talking about voles. And he knew a guy in Milford that knew how to get rid of them. And so he contacted this guy in Milford. The guy in Milford came out to the farm. He showed me this little, I wish I had one here. It's like a little spring-loaded piece of, say wire, but it's steel. And it's a trap you set in the holes. And I wish I had one I could demonstrate, but it's basically you set it in the hole and it's got this, it's spring loaded. So when the vole goes through the hole, it removes a ring that's in the hole to the vertical position, and it snaps it shut. And you catch voles that way. So I ordered 60 traps, and I've caught a bunch of them this year. Not all of them. You can't catch them all. There's just so many. But yeah, they've been a real issue. But it's just weird how things like that happen. Like, it's like a godsend. This guy comes out and helps me. And with an issue that I knew I had, but he didn't know I had. And we started talking, and it's just weird. Things have happened like that, you know. Even how we found our land was kind of a freaky story. I don't want to get into it too much, but you know, thank God for Google Maps made a big mistake. Let's put it that way. But yeah, New England, what is it called? wildlifesolutions.com, and it's called No Mole. And the traps are like, I forget, they're not cheap, but they're not wicked expensive either.
Do you offer the voles at your CSA the following week?
Yeah, no, we just grow vegetables. Yeah, those, I mean, they can eat so much for just a little tiny thing. It's only as big as a mouse. But man, I don't know. They must be able to eat 10 times their body weight a day or something. It's just ridiculous.
Cats don't work.
Cats, we don't live at our farm. We live in Wilton and farm in Mason. And I've always been told that if you get a feral cat, it's apt to either run away or coyotes will get it. So, I mean, that might work for a while. We do have a neighbor's cat that once in a while I see hunting out there. So that, you know, that helps. I saw a, well, I've seen bald eagles out there, but a hawk come by. I was working out there about a week ago and swooped down real close to one of the high tunnels where I was working, and then I looked away and I looked back because I heard some flapping. I think it caught a vole. And so hawks help too. It flew away with something in its claws. I'm pretty sure it was a vole.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had voles in our side yard, and then now 3 years ago we put in a new septic tank on that yard. So the entire yard had to be dug up, totally upturned, and back down again. No more voles.
Yeah.
But it was a big change in the landscape. You know, it was just big digging and turning it over.
The voles are vegetarians, so they just only eat plants, whereas moles are after like grubs and earthworms, from what I understand. But, yeah, that's good. You got rid of them.
Paul?
Years ago, I think I was buying some of your greens at Sunnyfield Farm when they were over on the way to Greenfield. Do you have is there any retail options for people that are further from your farm and that aren't able to do the CSA that can buy? I know you had some late season greens that were always great.
Yeah, I actually got some spinach today for people. Tuesday's pickup day, but our CSA ended like 3 weeks ago, but we have some leftover produce that I've been putting out to people on Tuesdays down at the field in Mason, and anyone can come by and buy anything. If you want to come down today, I'll be there by like 9:30 or so.
You don't do farmers markets or
not anymore. We used to do a lot of markets when we first started out.
Yeah.
A lot of the markets disappeared over the years, or the ones that remain usually aren't as viable as they once were. We just found CSA to be a more efficient model for us, having people come to our farm rather than me run around all over our state selling. We got a little more efficient as we got bigger. So yeah.
Any other questions? That's it. Well, thank you, Gene, for joining us this morning.
Do they have enough members? I mean, do they need more?
I don't know, did you hear that question, Gene? Do you have enough members? Do you need more members?
Oh, we could always use more members. The thing about what happened during the pandemic was, we saw a big uptick in signups, and this year we're back down to normal. The first year that we haven't grown the CSA. But yeah, we're always looking for new members. I'll put if you want, I'll put our website and contact info in the chat.
They can share it.
Greg will share.
Yeah, I can share that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How much is the membership, Gene? Somebody asked.
This past year, we had a spring season that was $220 for 10 weeks. and it was $22 a week. And the main season, we had 2 size shares. We had single size and full size, and it was 32 per week or 22 a week for 20 weeks. So those totals were $640 for a full share for 20 weeks, or $440 for a single share for 20 weeks. The prices might change. I know I'm gonna just do an 8-week spring next season. The prices won't change that much. If they go up at all, they'll go up $1 or $2 because we haven't raised prices in a while, and stuff's getting more expensive. So around that amount, expect it to be.
Okay. All right. Okay, close in the usual fashion. Actually, wait, well, before we do that, that next meeting will be here again, 7:30. Phil Wysick will be joining us. Tom Westheimer will be speaker host. You have something, Steve? Oh, okay. And then with that, close in the usual fashion. Service of self, most service best. Thanks, Gene. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gene.